What? That's what I'm saying. Welcome back to, well, we're in North Park, Darren. We're at Bluefoot, and we're following a 1-0 loss. San Diego Loyal coming up short on the road against RGV. A last-minute goal, an unfortunate finish for San Diego Loyal. Welcome to Matchday Live. Feel free to tune in with your comments here on YouTube. We'll get to your comments right away. Let us know where you watched, how you watched, and what you thought from the 90 minutes. Darren, what was your initial takeaway from what we just watched here at Bluefoot?
So if we're going to go game specific, it was much better, but it felt actually worse to lose the way Loyal lost tonight, to lose in the 87th minute with RGV goal coming off the bench. Sometimes you'd almost rather lose and say, hey, this is a wash, let's just move on. But to lose and to get your heart broken the way Loyal did here tonight away, having played so much better than we saw them play last Friday night in Chandler, Jordan, it's an incredibly tough break. I don't know that you do or don't like getting into the conversations about, well, was it the right result or what would have been a fair result? To me tonight, this one felt, for many portions of the night, it really did feel like Loyal was outplaying RGV, but that doesn't matter. The final score says RGV 1 and SD Loyal 0, and SD Loyal now finds itself 2 of 32 into this season here. 0 wins, 0 draws, and 2 losses, in the bottom of the Pacific standings. Those are the facts. So we can get into how it felt and what it looked like and how much better it was and the improvement made from last Friday night here to Thursday, but none of that really matters here in terms of just bottom line analysis for Loyal.
Yeah, it did feel different tonight. Friday night in Phoenix, it felt like within the first 10-15 minutes, things were out of San Diego's hands. They really didn't have much control. I think they had much more control tonight. I think the biggest question that we had coming into this one was the back line for San Diego. What would it look like with the injury to Stoneman? How would they adjust? I thought they adjusted quite well for a majority of the match up until the very end, where you have an unmarked player score the game-winning goal for RGV. But I really thought that the back line, they had some tough questions to answer. For the most part, they answered them. This was a much better performance than what we saw against Phoenix. But unfortunately, you come out with no points. Yeah. There are still difficult games on this road match to start, and San Diego have quickly found themselves in a position, unfortunately, Darren, where they're at the bottom looking up in a young season, but you are playing catch-up to start.
Yeah, I mean, I really, and I said this on the pre-match show, and I think you and I agreed, and I think it's an important point. It's not sugarcoating anything. How did Loyal come out tonight? How are they going to come out after being embarrassed away at Phoenix? And they clearly came out much better. It was just a much better effort against a totally different club in RGV, right? You're playing a club that's not nearly, a team that's not nearly as good as Phoenix Rising, but who is? And I thought that the effort, I thought that just the determination, the competitiveness, I thought that that was clear here from Loyal's standpoint. It's a bummer that they're not coming home with 1 point. Certainly not 3 points, but just in terms of being able to build off the disaster in Phoenix, Jordan, I think there is something to be said for that. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter. It's still 0 points now, 2 matches into the 2021 season. So I'm very curious to see what the comments are here as we get into the chatter and how people feel, because Friday night to me it couldn't have gone any worse for Loyal. There was no redeeming factors from that match whatsoever. Against RGV here on Thursday night, I thought there were a lot. It just didn't result in anything, and you come home empty-handed after 2 matches, so it's sort of tough to focus in on it. I mean, the back line, to your point, was so much better. Joshua Yarrow was the man of the match, and I know it sort of looked funny on television after the goals conceded that he's named the man of the match, but his statistics, 98 passes, 98% completions, I mean, he was night and day better than he was last Friday, so that's the good. Ultimately, though, an unmarked Vicente Sanchez at 41 years of age, that's the difference.
Yeah, that is the difference. 1-0 the final score tonight. San Diego come up short once again. So it's 2 losses to start the year. One of the other big storylines coming into tonight, Alejandro Guido got the start return. We saw 45 minutes from Guido last week. He's able to start. We get a full hour from Guido. No goals with Guido on the field this time around, which is a little bit different. That's when the goals tend to come if you're SD Loyal. Your thoughts on Guido? I thought he gave a good performance. I think it was very obvious that RGV were going to attack Guido. They fouled him more than any other player, especially early. Of the first 7 fouls that we saw from RGV, 5 of the 7 were against Alejandro Guido. So to me, that tells you that they had a plan. They knew where they wanted to attack, and they attacked Alejandro Guido. And I still think he performed quite well. And it's not surprising that's the player that they go after, because it's a player that was only able to give you 45 minutes in Phoenix. He gives you the hour tonight. The longer he's able to go and the deeper we go into the season, the better for SD Loyal. Unfortunately, what's really hurting the club to start is a guy as important as Guido not playing 100%. We do see him making progress, but clearly that was a factor for RGV. They went right after him.
Yeah, and he came out in the 62nd minute, and as we told you pre-match, as our great statistician Sean Kelly reminds us, since Guido joined the club, he has been on the field 100% of the time when SD Loyal has scored. Think about that. That's a wild statistic, that as long as Guido's on the pitch, SD Loyal figures out a way to score since he joined the club. That's amazing. So when he comes out, you sort of have that sinking feeling, right? You're sort of reminded of that. You're thinking of that in the back of your mind. Oh, okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean that we're not going to see any scoring opportunities? Actually, there were some really good scoring opportunities for SD Loyal. Elijah Martin had some really great looks, and especially down there in stoppage time too. But yeah, I mean, I love what I see when Guido's out there. It makes you want more. 62 minutes, and that was great to have him back out there. It certainly felt like they were much more dangerous when Ollie was out there on the pitch. But as we know, he's not yet to the match fitness where he can give you 90.
From Sean Kelly, Statman Sean, 41 years, 4 months, 29 days, Vicente Sanchez becomes the oldest goal scorer in the championship's history.
Wow.
Surpassing
history tonight.
One guy named Didier Drogba, who we all know about. And so he becomes the oldest goal scorer in the history of the league, and it's the winner against San Diego.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Alphonso Davies might be the youngest goal scorer in USL Championship history. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not the statistician. That's our guy, Sean. So yeah, and we talked. It's amazing. You and I did not talk about this during Matchday Live, the pre-show, but we talked about it on our group text earlier about having Vicente Sanchez out there, just given his history there with the Uruguayan national team and playing in Liga MX and being a champ. Like, it's really an amazing story. Unfortunately, it just came at Loyal's expense.
Right. He's also an assistant coach with the team. That's just not a player that came on the field to score for RGV. He's an assistant coach who also plays, and turns out, Darren, he scores goals. Unfortunately, against San Diego. Manny chimes in. He asks a question: how is there a man of the match if the player's coming from the losing team? It's a good question. My guess, and I don't know the answer, but my guess would be that decision was made a couple minutes before that goal actually happened. I wonder if the outcome would have been a little bit different if the scoreline were different. But that's usually how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, I think so, and that's television, right? Like, everybody's gathering statistics just so that you can have a man of the match. And up until that point, Joshua Yarrow really was. Statistically, he had just played great, especially given that there is no Grant Stoneman. Not for this match. Jordan will have to see what his future is. But usually that's just television. You got to come up with somebody before the end of the broadcast. It sounds a little wonky. Sometimes you expose yourself to this kind of situation where Sanchez comes on, scores the game winner, and you go, well, how's he not the man of the match? So, yeah, I mean, I think if you had a do-over, if you were doing it at full time, you would say it was Sanchez. But up until that point, Yarrow was absolutely a deserving choice. He was great, and it was so much better than it was against Phoenix. So that's statistically 98% of his passes completed, clearances. He did everything tonight. He was great for Loyal. Unfortunately, it just came in a performance that resulted in nothing.
Scott chimes in saying, this looks like the spot in North Park. We are at Bluefoot in North Park. Really excited for all the Loyal fans that showed up. We're in the back right now, so it's a little bit more private, of course, with everything that's going on. We have our safety measures, but plenty of Loyal fans on the other side, and I see plenty of Loyal supporters on the other side of these cameras as well. This is our first time out and about in San Diego, Darren, away from Toreros Stadium. It's our first opportunity to watch with fans. We had the opportunity to watch games on the road from Stone Brewing, but no one was allowed at those. So this has been a lot of fun for you and I. This is what it's all about for us here on Matchday Live. We want to be with the fans, drinking beers, and usually celebrating wins. Tonight, we're going to be drinking for a different reason, but as you know, win or lose, we tend to drink the brews here on Matchday Live.
And I do want to say that too, because those who are here at Bluefoot Bar and Lounge in North Park, like, you might watch this later, but cheers to you. Cheers to the people who are here. We know that there were different watch parties around San Diego, but this place was into it tonight. Bluefoot is a great, great local soccer bar. We talked with their owner in the pre-match show, and it lived up to its billing as one of the premier soccer pubs here in San Diego County, maybe the premier soccer pub. There's a lot of choices, but when a goal gets called off early on, 21st minute, Corey Herzog, this place erupted. It was alive. Some of the chances, whether it was an Elijah Martin shot that gets saved late, whether it was cards that were being issued against Loyal or for, this place was into it tonight. Man, what a feeling, what an amazing feeling. Cheers to everybody here at Bluefoot. Cheers to everybody who's watching. This was a ton of fun, even though it came in defeat.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a 1-0 loss. We'll take a break here from Bluefoot. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation. Keep the comments coming. Darren Manny says that he really loves your shirt tonight. Loves the shirt. I do as well. It's very, very good. If you do love the shirt, you can buy the newest SD Loyal gear, including kits, the Adidas collection, and some unique designs that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else at the shop. Shop online today at theshop.sdloyal.com, or you can visit the shop in Mission Valley. Darren, before we go to break, the loudest moment today at Bluefoot, when Corey Herzog put one in the back of the net, but then moments later the flag went up, and we all just got very, very quiet. That was the loudest moment inside of Bluefoot, and it was loud.
This place was into it tonight. What a start to our season. Unfortunately, again, it comes in defeat, but if this is the way it's going to be this summer, Jordan, we're going to have a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll continue with your comments next. We're back to North Park from Bluefoot. It's Matchday Live.
At Chosen Foods, we are inspired by the vibrant culinary lifestyle of the Baja Med and, of course, by avocados. From our flagship avocado oil to our family of dressings, mayos, simmer sauces, and guacamoles, the versatility of all Chosen Foods avocado-based products offer you the freedom to be both healthy and creative in the kitchen. Join us in the sun-drenched utopia of Chosen Foods, the avocado. Celebrate it.
During this pandemic, many families are worried about Disney healthcare facilities. I'm Dr. Gail Knight, Rady Children's Senior Vice President and Chief Medical Officer. I'd like to share with you the advice that I give my own family and friends. The best thing that you can do to keep your child healthy is to continue to keep routine appointments like vaccinations and regular checkups. This keeps you, your child, and our community as protected as possible. We are always open, we are here for you, and we are safe.
All right, San Diego Loyal season ticket memberships for the 2021 season. They are on sale. Members are going to receive priority access to the first 2 home matches. We have our first home match, Jordan, in 23 days. Starts on May 29th against Vegas, the Las Vegas Lights. You can choose between 3 membership levels of benefits, and you can get the perks of being a member. Visit sdloyal.com/memberships or email tickets at sdloyal.com.
1-0 the final score. San Diego Loyal going to start their first 2 matches with losses, unfortunately. They get their next opportunity, as Darren just mentioned, coming up rather quickly. They start with several matches on the road before they do come home May 29th against Las Vegas. It is a difficult start against difficult teams, and we've seen it play out that way so far. Darren, I think one of the big storylines tonight, Corey Herzog, someone that many Loyal supporters are waiting to score his first goal. We're waiting for those first real chances. We were hoping to see a little bit more chances from Corey Herzog tonight. They really did not develop. He didn't have many opportunities. He had the one opportunity where he is able to score, but he's in an offside position. We were able to see that replay a little bit later on, and he was offside throughout that entire sequence, never found his way back to an onside position. So Corey Herzog, once again, we're going to find ourselves, and maybe it's at Tacoma a week from today. That really is a good opportunity for Corey Herzog to open his account for San Diego. But that's one of the big storylines today. Once again, no shots, and we're really looking for things to turn around. And those are the players you're looking to connect a little bit more offensively down the field, and that's what you're hoping to see next week.
Yeah, and you know, that was not bad luck, and we went back, watched the replay, and it was the right call. As much as we were all pulling for it to go in and be the first goal for Corey Herzog and the first goal of the season for SD Loyal, it turns out it really was the right call. But I thought he was much more active tonight, a little bit friskier. He ends up being subbed off, Jordan, in the 68th minute for Ben Spencer. So maybe that was some tired legs after the opening match here in week number 2. And they're going to come. I think we all understand that they're going to come. But to me, I think the other takeaway was just how much more structured everything looked. Completing passes line to line to line, I thought was really quite obvious for anybody who was watching the match. And that includes the forward staying where they are. Sometimes last week you looked and you were like, "What's Corey doing back there?" Clearing the ball in right in front of Trey Muse. But this week I thought it was a little bit more structured. They kept their shape. From that standpoint, so it was good to see. Unfortunately, it just was called off as the assistant ref raised the flag.
Right, and that is definitely part of the game that they like about Corey Herzog. The fact that he can score goals, of course, is attractive to San Diego Loyal, but what he does defensively is one of the biggest things that SD Loyal really love about Corey Herzog. We saw that in Phoenix. He was able, unfortunately, this is not a great stat, but it does show you the type of player that he is. The fact that he touched the ball twice in the opposition's box without getting a touch to score on the other side, but it shows that he's able to get all the way back. We see it again today, and it actually goes to one of the comments that we have on YouTube right now from Oscar, who says, "I think Ben Spencer looks more match ready than Corey Herzog does right now. Corey looks slow. He seems to be playing further up the field." I think Corey brings a different element than Ben Spencer. I think they're going to rely on Corey to play a little bit more defensively, and I think they bring different things to the table, of course. But Ben Spencer is someone that we saw score in Phoenix last week. We've seen him score, or at least we know that he scored in the preseason as well. But Corey Herzog's your guy up front. I don't think there's any question about that. And really what I think many San Diego fans are hoping for is the cure for Corey Herzog as he waits for his first goal is Tacoma next week on the road. Hopefully that is your cure, and we'll see what happens. But Corey Herzog is the guy they want scoring goals up front.
Well, we also read before the season started, there was an analysis, a pretty deep dive on Corey Herzog's goal scoring, because he is the 3rd all-time leading goal scorer in USL Championship history. And the analysis suggested that when they come in bunches, right? So for as many goals as he has scored, you would think, okay, that's pretty consistent. He probably spreads them out a little bit, but he is very streaky. So when they come in bunches. So don't be surprised if you see Corey Herzog score a brace, score a hat trick, score 3-4 goals in a handful of matches consecutively. So it does seem like he is very, very streaky, right? Certain guys just pick up and get hot at the right time, and Corey's one of those. He hasn't done it yet, but with 30 more matches to go, Jordan, I'm sure we're going to see that at some point, because that's just the way it's been for Corey Herzog. He has some high tides, he's got some low tides as well. And I think right now we're not quite sure what it is, because we're still getting used to him, and we're getting used to him here in this 3-5-2 or 4-4-2 or whatever it is you want to call it. But he's getting used to his new teammates getting used to him. But every bit of analysis tells you when they come, they're going to start coming in bunches. And that's, I'm sure, what Loyal's going to expect from him.
Right. And I share Oscar's frustration as well, because you want to see Corey Herzog score goals, right? You want to see the shots come. You don't want to see a player playing that position having to defend more than he is setting things up offensively. So of course you share that frustration, but I do think it's coming. I really, really do think it's coming. Jen says put Landon on the camera. That's what we care about. I'm with you. I want to know what Landon Donovan has to say about this. So I'll be staying tuned to San Diego Loyal's Twitter account and other social media channels because and I'm assuming they'll follow suit with what we saw in Phoenix, but they posted that video from Landon Donovan, his thoughts on the match. I'm very curious what LD has to say about the 90 minutes that occurred here at RGV tonight. So we'll stay tuned for that. Darren mentioned it. SD Loyal going to continue on the road as they head up to Tacoma. They'll take on Pacific Division rival Tacoma Defiance next Thursday, May 13th at 7 p.m. You're going to be able to watch the match live on Fox 5 San Diego and Azteca America in Spanish. We are live from North Park. We are at Bluefoot. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Matchday Live returns after this.
I'm not even sure what's happening here, and I know it's fast, but I'm in love with you. We're gonna be together forevs, and I'm gonna keep you looking good, boo. That's why I got you unlimited washes. That's right, we're gonna binge wash, babe. Commit to your car. What are you waiting for?
It starts off with a little seed, and with a little love from nature, it sprouts to life. And when delicious fresh fruits and veggies are perfect, they are rushed to the home of fresh. Sprouts, where goodness grows.
Want a perfect pair of sunglasses for your every occasion? Hit up the Knockaround Custom Shop. With over 1 million possible combinations, why not get a pair for every you? 8 a.m. I need a coffee you. Clocking a few miles you. Game day you. Happy camper you. Fun in the sun you. On the slopes you. Dog days you. Happy hour you. Si se puede you. The Knockaround Custom Shop. You design them, we build them.
Your summer starts here. With big savings on a new Toyota, you can go out and do all the things that make summer the best time of the year. But don't miss out on all the fun. See your Toyota dealer and catch a great deal today.
Right now, drive home a stylish new Corolla with a low $199 a month lease. Or you can save big with $1,500 factory cash back.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
Matchday Live continues. We're from Bluefoot in North Park. He's Darren Smith. I'm Jordan Caruth. We are following a 1-0 loss for San Diego on the road at RGV. Elijah Martin, someone who had a couple opportunities tonight for San Diego. 3 good looks, no goals, but he did have his chances. That was very notable. Corey Herzog, one of the big notes tonight. I think the back line, the way they adjusted, one of the big storylines as well. When will Grant Stoneman be available going forward? Clearly that's a big story for San Diego, and we see it in the comments already. Oscar bringing up the fact if we lose against Tacoma, then it's probably time to start raising some eyebrows. You don't want to find yourself falling behind too far. You're already in a division with a lot of talented teams, and you're going to be on the road for quite some time to start. The matchups don't get any easier. You need to start picking up some points as soon as possible.
Well, and to that point, and Oscar brings up an excellent point here, away at Tacoma for the 3rd straight week. That's 1 week from tonight, 7 o'clock, which we'll get to here in What's on Tap. But then afterwards, Jordan, your 4th away match before you come back home and open up your home schedule is going to be at Louisville. And Louisville is considered one of the better teams there in the Eastern Conference. So from that standpoint, you're right. You're digging yourself a little bit of a hole. Remember the way this works now. We told everybody the new structure for USL Championship is the top 4 from every division are going to go to the postseason. So would you be climbing out of a hole? Absolutely. You know, you might already look and go, wow, look at Phoenix all the way out there. They're flying. They get Oakland Roots upcoming this weekend. But, you know, to that end, yeah, especially given what's on the other side of Tacoma, which is Louisville. Lou City has got a new stadium. That's a city now that's been energized. They've had a coaching change just to start their season, but there's a lot of talent on that club, and they're a nationally televised team. They find their way on the national television on a regular basis. So I'm with you here. It's way too early for me to get into must-wins or must results, things along those lines. But yeah, it feels like it's important. Certainly heading up to Tacoma, where Loyal, remember, picked up its first win last season, right before the pandemic shut everything down.
Yeah, that was the final match in USL Championship before everything shut down. I'm with a lot of the comments so far that we've seen. You come up short at Tacoma, then things start to change a little bit. Then you're starting to wonder what players are available. What can you do? Do you need to start making some changes? How big is that injury to Grant Stoneman? Do you need to find someone else to come in? Those are the questions that you would start to ask yourself if you go to Tacoma and you come up short. We'll see what happens. That's a week from tonight, a little bit later of a kickoff.
But let me ask you this. So last week it's Phoenix Rising, it's ESPN2, it's a Friday night, everybody's super excited. Tonight it's again national television, ESPN Deportes, locally here, Fox 5 shows Loyal matches. I realize that there are different degrees of pain when it comes to sports, but this almost feels worse than it did last week. Last week was such a throwaway 4-1 beatdown. Oh my gosh, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, injury on top of insult. This almost feels worse because, though nobody wants to hear about silver linings, gosh, the club just played so much better. I mean, any difference for you in how you lose? I know for some, hey, a loss is a loss. I don't want to hear it. Stop trying to rationalize. But for you, any different? There was better chances, there was just better shape, there was better performances. Trey didn't have a ton to do back there, a couple of saves, which was totally different than last week where he ties and equals the SD Loyal all-time record with 8. But you'd almost rather lose where you just, all right, well that was a disaster, let's move on, than this where you're like, what if Elijah puts that header to the right, to the left? What if some of those opportunities early on? What if Corey just holds up 1 nanosecond and then is not called for offsides? This actually feels more painful than it did a week ago, getting blown out on national TV.
I think Friday in Phoenix was more painful than what we had to go through. Now that moment, it's heartbreaking to finish the way that it did finish at RGV, but what happened Friday in Phoenix, that hurts more for me. Just pretty much because of what you said. It was from the very, very beginning, and you never had a chance, and at least it didn't seem that way. Tonight, it looked like you were competing as good as the other side, as good of an opportunity to come away with all 3 points. You come up short, you can't find the back of the net, which was a little bit of a story for the team last year in the month of August. Don't expect that kind of thing to continue. This is a very different team, but unfortunately, it's a heartbreaking result following a tough loss to start the year, and you have nothing else to look at this point other than the fact that you have no wins and 2 losses, and you have other teams in the group that are already starting to pick up some points. So that's what you're kind of left at. Quickly, Darren, we'll get you updated on our pick to kick. This is an easy update. No one gets any points tonight.
Well, we're terrible at this.
Shannon McMillan had Jack Metcalf, Jack Cronin, and the locals both selected Corey Herzog. It looked like they were going to be celebrating with some points for the pick to kick, but the flag came up, Darren.
Well, the good news is if this was the pick to who gets subbed off first, this would have been a real contest because everybody we picked got subbed off tonight, right?
So I had Jack Blake, he was subbed off, Herzog was subbed off, Alejandro Guido, who Chavo selected and Darren selected, was subbed off as well. I tried to make the case, no one would listen to me here here in North Park. Jack Blake deserves a point in the pick to kick. He kicked one of the other players. He got a yellow card for it, but I still think that's a kick. I deserve a point. It's not going to count. Everyone still has 0 on our pick to kick. I have a feeling...
Yeah, Shannon should get a point because she had Metcalf. He actually played a full 90.
Maybe she gets the bonus point, but I think things will change at Tacoma. There's no question about that. They had about 3,000 fans in the building. We saw pictures outside, a little bit of a line to get in, 3,000 fans. Just that image alone, Darren, it kind of gets you excited, like, all right, get us to Torero Stadium, get us back with the locals, get us with the Chavos. That's what you're looking forward to, because you see all these other teams with their home openers and playing their second game at home. You get a little bit jealous, don't you?
Without a doubt. Can't wait for May 29th. And I really do. I really think that there's plenty to build on from this performance here tonight. Last week, there was nothing other than, hey, are you guys embarrassed? Are you guys going to show up? Are you guys going to compete? There's a lot to build on, from the back line through the midfield and even into the attack. Having as many shots on target in the first 25 minutes of the match as they had for the entire game last week, Jordan, to me, is something that you build upon. So I still feel pretty bullish about this side, that it's going to figure itself out. We saw some really good, clever combinations tonight in that midfield, so I feel like there's a lot to build on from that performance.
I do hate to be this person to correct someone on a broadcast earlier, but I do think it's important. On the broadcast tonight, there were a few mistakes, we know. One of the mistakes during the game, only 3 substitutions. That is not the rule in USL Championship this year. San Diego Loyal have up to 5 substitutions to use. They have yet to use all 5 in either of the first 2 matches from what we've seen, but that is an option for San Diego. We heard it on the broadcast that they used all their bullets after 3. That's not true. They can use 5. We haven't seen them do it yet, but that is an option going forward.
Yeah, and who you would have brought in here, especially in the absence of Grant Stolman, maybe a Morgan Hackworth, somebody along those lines. But I thought the substitutions were right. You'd like to see a little bit more. I actually thought when Nicky Jackson comes on, and he comes on replacing Jack Blake in the 86th minute, I said to myself, we're going to steal 3 points right here, aren't we? And then sure enough, what happens less than a minute later? It ends up being RGV that ends up taking all 3 points home.
Darren, as we wrap it up, it is time for What's on Tap, brought to you by Stone Brewing. Here's what you need to know looking forward. Next match for San Diego Loyal going to be Thursday, May 13th at Tacoma Defiance. Muse Mania, his former squad, the goalie for San Diego, taking on Tacoma. That's going to be the next match for San Diego Loyal a week from tonight, right at 7 p.m. this weekend, though, as well. As you look at teams in the division, Phoenix will host Oakland Roots. Oakland Roots being introduced to USL Championship. That's their first match this year. They're going to play in Phoenix. We'll see what Rising do to Oakland Roots. That will be Saturday at 7:30. Also this weekend, Sunday, Galaxy going to host Tacoma. So you get a little bit of an opportunity. If you haven't seen Tacoma yet, you'll be able to watch them on Sunday against Los Dos. And I think something pretty notable from that, Tacoma plays Sunday night, 5 p.m., and then they're going to play Thursday night at home against San Diego. But Loyal will have a full week in between their 2 matches. Tacoma going to have about 3 days off before they play again. It's a short turnaround for Tacoma, which is good news for San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, that's continue the forward momentum from Friday night into tonight. Well, what's next, right? And what's next is an even better performance on the road at Tacoma. Thursday night, 7 o'clock. We will announce where it is that you can come hang with us, because this was a ton of fun. I can't say it enough. Thank you to everybody who showed up here, who said hello to us, who rocked their Loyal gear out here on a Thursday night at Bluefoot North Park.
Yeah. Once again, the final score tonight, RGV 1, San Diego Loyal 0. The big storylines for us, I thought the back line looked better. Collectively looked much better than what we saw against Phoenix. We're still waiting to see the first opportunities for Corey Herzog, and we did see progress from Alejandro Guido playing a full hour after only giving San Diego 45 minutes in the first match in Phoenix. So I think there are some positives. Clearly the scoreline, not one of them, but they'll have a chance to get their first 3 points of the season next week at Tacoma. As Darren said, we'll let you know where we'll be for that one. But we do appreciate everyone who showed up today. It was a lot of fun. It's so fun doing this show with fans around us for the first time. This is what it's all about.
We are back. We are back.
Very excited for it. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Next Thursday night, pre-match coverage is going to start at 6:30. For Darren Smith, I'm Jordan Caruth. Good night.
It's time to get moving with the financial partner that's here for your journey. From small steps to big milestones, USE Credit Union is here for you. With tools to help you bank fast, solutions to help you go far, and a team of dream makers that's ready to help you step forward with confidence. USE Credit Union.
Switch to Martin. Now Guido. That's it long range. He's got it! Dispersed in a Loyal jersey. 1-0 San Diego. Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season. Drew actually got a hand on it, and this one will go high and up and in! One more time! Torero Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.